Hey Wargamers, today we're going to do another Tau army list review. Now, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, basically I take an army list sent to me by one of my patrons over on Patreon. I review it, I talk about the things that I think work well and the things that I think could be improved, kind of tweaking the list to be a little bit more effective in my, mind's eye, but still trying to keep the overall theme or approach of the list the same, right? I want to keep the strategy or the play style comparable and leave some character left in that list. All right, so we have a 2,000 point Farsight Enclaves army list. It has one detachment with emergency dispensation and veteran cadre as pre-game stratagems. The Warlord is an XV86 Coldstar battlesuit with Through Unity Devastation as the Warlord trait. Two good choices, of course, both the Coldstar and Through Unity Devastation. Through Unity Devastation is a very standard pick. I think it's basically the default pick for most Tau lists unless you're trying to do something very specific or very niche. So the original list is a battalion detachment led by Commander Farsight and that Warlord Coldstar. He has the Supernova Launcher, which is a relic, 2 missile pods, and a high output burst cannon, along with 2 marker drones. So taking marker drones with your Coldstar, pretty standard choice. You want to take drones as upgrades, of course, both with your Coldstar, but pretty much any unit that you can take them with, just because that's the only way to get them at 10 points. So if you pay for a tactical drone unit, you have to pay more. So take them as upgrades is the way to go. And your Coldstar likes to have some buddies with them, just to do saber protocols on and that sort of thing. So 2 drones is not enough to block shooting from Lookout Sir, but it is enough to pass wounds to with saber protocols, so that's good. The Supernova Launcher is a flavorful choice. I don't think it's necessarily the most competitive choice in a lot of situations, but I love using it. I don't think I'll ever tell anyone to not use the Supernova Launcher because it is just so much fun to use, and it also packs a nice punch, right? Like it's good. I don't know if it's the best thing ever, but it's certainly good. So fun choice. We have 2 missile pods there. That's good. It gives us some range, and then it has a high output burst cannon. I think this is a little bit of an odd choice, right? It comes stock with high output burst cannon and a missile pod, but we don't have to keep the burst cannon. It has value, but I would rather just kind of consolidate the strategy of this guy, sticking with missile pods, or even switch the loadout here in general to be a little bit more punchy. The missile pods are good because the Coldstar wants to be cagey. He doesn't want to be up in close combat with anybody, so he can kind of hang out and back with those missile pods and pick at people from a distance. But perhaps there's other ways that we can do that, so we'll take a look at the rest of the list and revisit his loadout in the revision. For troops, we have 2 units of 5 breachers, and then also 2 units of 5 strike teams, each with 2 marker drones each, and then also a devilfish. So I'm assuming the idea here is you take the strike team with a marker drone, you take a breacher team, put them in the devilfish, and you have a fully loaded devilfish. You could also just put both breacher teams in there. That's fine too. Nothing wrong with either of those choices. Gives you some flexibility, of course, in your deployment that way. But having the strike teams with the marker drones there for kind of your backfield objectives is a good way to go. They have the range, and then have the breachers and the devilfish. Either way, gives them the mobility that they need to really be effective. So this is a totally fine selection here. I think in general, things get so messy in 9th edition in terms of the mid-board that the strike teams really don't have as much value as they did in 8th or previously. So I would consider maybe making these all into breacher teams, or just expanding the number of breacher teams and keeping a strike team, something like that. Gives you that punch that you need with those breachers, but also maintains your body count, maintains your ability to hold objectives and that sort of thing. Then looking at fast attack, we have a 5-man Pathfinder team. Pathfinders are valuable because they can make that scout move ahead of time before the game starts, so it gives you a little bit of board control early on, allow you to potentially snag an objective, which is, of course, valuable, but they they die as soon as you look at them funny. So I think there's, you have to be careful with Pathfinders. You really have to have a environment, a board setup, a terrain density that allows them to be there for at least a couple turns, and that's hard to do. So I might consider shifting away from Pathfinders and just trying to get more marker drones on the board, and look at that board control through other avenues. Then we have 2 Piranha units, each with 2 Seeker Missiles each. So the Piranhas here, it's good that they're split up into 2 different units. We have the slots to do that, so we might as well. Gives us a little bit more flexibility in deployment. And then they have Seeker Missiles, otherwise they're stock. And the Seeker Missiles, I think if you're going with a Seeker Missile strategy, we want to put them everywhere we can. But so maybe like look at that Devilfish as a potential chassis for a Seeker Missile instead. I think, given the option, I would put a Seeker Missile on a Devilfish instead of a Piranha, because the Devilfish is going to be on the board a little bit longer, give you a little bit more choice in how you deploy that potentially. So all else equal, I might shift a Seeker Missile to the Devilfish there. But otherwise, totally fine. We are giving up 2 drones to take these 4 Seeker Missiles, but that's probably not that's not a bad trade-off, right? Like, it's only 2 drones and you get 4 Seeker Missiles, and depending on how you play it, those could really seal a deal on a particular high priority target. So I think it's worth it there. The Piranhas are also going to give us a couple benefits here. One is that they're going to give us more board control. They're fast. They're also vehicles, so they are going to help block for our characters, for Farsight and the Coldstar. Their speed combined with that vehicle characteristic is useful in blocking for that Coldstar. It allows him to be a little bit more cagey, maybe a little bit more aggressive, and still have the Piranhas there to prevent him from being targeted, at least for a little bit. So there's advantage there. And then, of course, they also have drones. So they can drop those drones. You can use those drones for, whatever you want to use them for in terms of serial protocols or board control or whatever. So I think Piranhas certainly have a place here. You don't want to necessarily just spam Piranhas, but they are useful, a useful tactic in a lot of scenarios. For elites, we have a Riptide with a heavy burst cannon, smart missile system, advanced targeting system, and drone controller. And he also has 2 shielded missile drones. So let's talk about the shielded missile drones real quick first. That's fine. They're 15 points, which, back in the day would have been like ridiculous. But now that, a normal shield drone is 15 points, you might as well take the one with a missile strapped to it too. So that's fine. If we are running out of places to take drones, it's great. You get the extra missiles. It's fine. I don't think it's the thing that I would take, if I was sitting down and writing a list from scratch. But they're fine. And they are shield drones still. So, I think I like this as a flavorful choice on the list. For the actual Riptide itself, we have a heavy burst cannon and smart missile system, a good volume of fire loadout. The advanced targeting system is useful for both of those, of course, and the drone controller helps with the various drones that will be around this centerpiece unit. But looking at the rest of the list, I think the heavy burst cannon might be not necessarily the choice that's going to give us the most robust loadout, right? Like, there's some redundancy with the heavy burst cannon and some of these other choices in terms of volume of fire and profile. And so I would really like to see this Riptide be a punchier unit and give it the amplified ion accelerator as a relic, which just wrecks face when it's landing on a vehicle or something. So the amplified ion accelerator is a really awesome choice. I would pivot the Riptide towards that and adjust the loadout accordingly. Then we have a maxed out unit of crisis suits that benefit from veteran cadre and reactive countermeasures. So reactive countermeasures here, we are going to put a little footnote here. We're going to say that we're assuming that the reactive countermeasures prototype system applies to every model in the unit that has an airburst fragmentation projector. We're not saying that it's just one. We're saying that it's anything that has an AFP. I know that's a controversial take, but that's what I'm going to be going with based on the way this list is written. So it has 3 crisis suits with 2 fusion blasters, a shield generator, and iridium each. I like fusion blasters. I like the shield generator and iridium. That makes sense. What I think is a little bit of a misalignment here is that there aren't airburst fragmentation projectors on your shield generator iridium suits, because those are going to be the guys that you're putting wounds on a lot of the time. So you want them to have that benefit of reactive countermeasures. So they need to have an airburst fragmentation projector in order to do that. So I would shift away from the fusion blasters, go with the fragmentation projectors instead for those iridium suits. We have 5 suits with the plasma rifle, a missile pod, and an AFP. Again, I think the AFP is a good choice here. You could basically use that on every suit here, again, with the caveat that we're assuming that anything with an AFP benefits from reactive countermeasures. You could shift everything to have AFP, great. The plasma rifle is a tragedy of a weapon. I really hope that at some point this will get fixed in some future iteration of the codex, but the plasma rifle is just not an efficient choice for really any target. So I would either switch this to just be missile pods instead of a plasma rifle and a missile pod. But the missile pod, gives you good range, gives you good output. It's kind of a jack of all trades weapon, and does a fine job. It, importantly, it gives you that reach, right? If you have this unit of crisis suits right in the center of the board, having those missile pods are going to be really effective at taking out anything on the board, really. Combine that with an AFP, which can really whittle away at those infantry units. I think that's a great combo. The missile pod AFP combo can take care of a lot of different things. It can do a lot of work for you, especially if we're looking at the meta here of Drukhari, of AdMech. Those 2 weapons combined on a centerpiece unit like this crisis bomb, that's going to have the buffs from Farsight. He's going to have your stratagems. He's going to have your Master of War benefits. I think the missile pod AFP suit is going to do a lot of work here. So let's lean into that. The Shazvray has 2 cyclic ion blasters and a missile pod. Again, missile pod is a fine choice. Cyclic ion blasters here, there's only 2 of them. I think if you're going to be trying to do a cyclic ion strategy, we might want to spread those out a little bit more, get a few more suits with that benefit or with that weapon choice. But again, cyclic ion blasters are a fantastic weapon. So, you can go really any way on that. But if you are going to take them, take more of them. And then we have 6 gun drones and 4 marker drones in this unit, so 10 drones attached to it. Again, those are going to be pretty easy to shoot off the board depending on how they're deployed. So I might want to take fewer drones as the upgrade for this unit and try to take more drones other places if possible. But still, drones are drones and you need them. So one thing I think could be reconsidered with this unit is that it's just a standard crisis unit. It's not a bodyguard unit. It does cost 5 points more per suit, and so that's going to add up for a unit this size, but I think it's worth it considering the overall structure of this list is really focused around these crisis suits and the commanders doing a lot of the work. They're going to be in the center of the board. They're going to get charged. So if you give them the bodyguard upgrade, they're better able to utilize stratagems to really put up a fight in close combat and be more worthwhile alongside Farsight. So I think that's a worthy upgrade, is to take them as crisis bodyguards instead of just crisis suits. And then finally, we have a Ghostkeel with a fusion obliterator. That's the relic fusion choice for the Ghostkeel. Slightly higher stat profile, more reliable output. It's good. It's not as good as the amplified ion accelerator though. So I would again switch, instead of taking the fusion obliterator, I would take the amplified ion accelerator. Also has fusion blasters and a shield generator. You could take another support system on this as well, but the shield generator is a must take on the Ghostkeel. In general, I don't think Ghostkeels pull their weight. They have, some value as a distraction Ghostkeel, as a board control element. But I don't think that they really earn their points back a lot of the time. And in some cases, they can be really detrimental, right? Like if you deploy the Ghostkeel up too far, your opponent can basically use that to swing into you, right? They can charge that and then, oh, look, hey, we're right on your doorstep, as opposed to having a more disadvantageous position going into turn 2 or turn 3. So I like Ghostkeels. It's a fantastic model. I don't think it's necessarily the best choice for this list. All right, and here's the revised list. Basically, the structure stays the same, still a battalion, still Farsight Enclave, still has the same stratagems, Warlord, everything like that. All right, so the first half of that detachment, again, I'm trying to revise this in a way to make it, in my mind, a little bit more effective while still maintaining the general feel of the original list. So here we have Farsight and Coldstar. Again, he has a supernova launcher, but this time I just gave him 3 fusion blasters. It kind of felt like one of the challenges for the previous list was just being able to deliver those high quality shots. Coldstar with fusion blasters is a great way to do that. So I gave him fusion blasters to take care of some of the big stuff. He still has those marker drones. For troops, I have a unit of 5 breachers. They have a guardian drone and a marker drone. The drones here, the Guardian drone is a good choice because it makes the breachers a lot more durable, but it also is still a drone, and it's the same price as the other tactical drones, or the marker drone and gun drone at least. So that's why I want the Guardian drone there, then take down another marker drone, another unit just like that, and then 2 breacher teams, bare bones. It'll be obvious why I did this in just a moment. And then we have a 5-man strike team with 2 marker drones. Again, allowing them to kind of have that backfield positioning. They can sit on an objective in your deployment zone. You have marker drones there to help you out. It's just kind of a squad to sit there and hold objectives early in the game when a lot of your other stuff is going to be making some plays for the middle of the board. Moving on to elites, we have a Riptide here again. Now it has the Amplified Ion Accelerator as a prototype system. Still has a Smart Missile system, but now it has the Counterfire Defense system, since the Advanced Targeting system doesn't really help the Amplified Ion Accelerator at all. So Counterfire Defense allow it to withstand some of those charges a little bit more, and then a drone controller to help out the drones that are going to be hanging around this guy, the commanders, and then this crisis bodyguard unit that we're going to talk about here in a moment. So there's going to be plenty of drones. Might as well give them a drone controller to make them do their drone things a little bit better at times. So then we have the 9-man crisis bodyguard unit, still veteran cadre, still reactive countermeasures. And again, that same caveat of assuming that reactive countermeasures applies to any unit, any model in the unit that has an AFP. So we have 3 crisis here with 2 AFP, a shield generator, and iridium armor. These are the suits that are going to be taking hits for you early on. An additional 3 crisis suits with 2 missile pods and an AFP. Another 3 crisis bodyguards with 2 fusion blasters and AFP. Again, looking at ways to make this unit have a little bit more of that punch. We were lacking on some of the high strength, high AP firepower before. Put those fusion blasters in there to help with that. But really, I think you could also just shift these 3 crisis suits to be exactly like the missile pod version as well, and that would also be an effective strategy. It would give you a little bit more cohesion in the unit, make your target priority a little bit better, a little bit easier at least. And wouldn't split up your shots as much, which can be a challenge because you get to a point here where if you have too many different weapon types, you're picking too many different targets and not doing really anything to any of them. So you want to have some critical mass of firepower. I think this unit still has that, especially again considering those Drukhari, those AdMech lists that are so prevalent right now. Also Space Marine lists. I think this loadout does well against all of those. So. I think this is a solid crisis bodyguard unit that can be the center point of this Farsight list, considering it's going to have the support of the commanders and the Riptide alongside them to, just kind of, take names. And to wrap up this new list, we have 2 Piranhas. They are just stock, no seeker missiles this time because I have 2 Devilfish in here as well, and they have a secret missile each. The idea here is that you put 2 breacher squads in each of those Devilfishes. One of those breacher squads has the drones, one doesn't, so it fills up the Devilfish perfectly. And then we also have a unit of 4 Vespid. These guys are really here just to kind of take an objective when the opportunity comes up, or to finish off a unit that's hiding behind a ruin somewhere in the distance. So they're opportunists. They're there to just give you a tool to use if you need it, but kind of also make the opponent kind of know that these Vespid are there in your list, and they could pop down and be annoying to them at least. So it forces them to deal with that a little bit. But overall, I think this list does well. It has a good volume of shots, especially because of those AFPs. Those air burst fragmentation projectors can actually put out quite a lot of hurt. And we have a cohesive kind of blob that's going to move forward under the leadership of Farsight early on. You have the Piranhas, you have the Coldstar to do kind of some flanking stuff. You have the Devilfish and the Breachers to grab objectives and contest. And then you have a fair number of drones to provide support for those core units. Those core units, again, being the bodyguard unit and the Riptide and the commanders. So those are really the units that you're expecting to do all the work, where all these other things are board control and taking objectives, that sort of thing. Doing the things that actually score you points, as opposed to just killing stuff like the other units. So yeah, let me know what you think about this revised list in the comments below. What do you think works well? What do you think doesn't work well? I'd love to have a conversation about it down there in the comments. If you want me to do a review for you like this, just have to be one of our members over on Patreon. Send me your list and I'd be happy to do a video like this. All right, and then before I go, today is another installment of my giveaway here. I'm going to be doing this at least for the next couple weeks here, where each week I'm going to give away a bunch of models that I have left over from the Heresy Lab Kickstarter that was a while ago. So this week I'm giving away 10 human auxiliary models. It's duplicates of these 5 models here, so 2 of each of these. But yeah, if you're interested in winning these models, no matter where you are worldwide, you can enter. Just leave a comment in the comment section below, and next week I will pick a winner at random and ship these models to you. So yeah, go ahead, leave a comment below if you want to win these models. I'll have, like I said, at least 2 more of these with different models in the coming weeks. So if you're interested in seeing what else I'm going to be giving away, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the video. All right, thanks for watching, and as always, happy wargaming. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This channel is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider joining our community over there. Really, the support means more to me than you realize. So special thanks to Tao Oswell, Stephen Cowan, Jared Egler, Scott Heater, Michael Byrne, Robbie Goodwin, Chris Kessler, Durza, Zealous Brimstone, Ever Keller, Drew Pralley, Ruger, Jose Gomez, A Little Pink Monster, and Benaby Jones.